Joined now by ANC veteran Mabuso Msimang. Thanks so much for your time, sir. We appreciate it. I guess that is the question, because we've asked the ANC that question, and they're giving us different answers. They're not going to act right now.
I guess it would be difficult for them to take any action at the moment. I don't always believe in this thing of innocent until found guilty. There are certain issues, there are certain matters which would place the organization in a very unfavorable situation if it was perceived not to be doing anything about people implicated in corruption. I do think, though, that they need to tread a little carefully just this time around and find out how these things go.
Yeah. So the party said yesterday that it won't protect people who are implicated, who have to answer to the Zondo Commission. There are many calls from individuals, South Africans, analysts, saying that they should act given the serious allegations against these ANC members, including Nomvula Mokonyane, the former President Jacob Zuma, who are all, by the way, likely to be on the ANC's list. Should that still be the case going forward?
I don't think you can single out some individuals and leave others. Yes, you are talking about people who have featured in the past rather darkly on these matters. It's not going to do the ANC any credit to have some of the people on the list. I wish they, the people themselves, would be sufficiently considerate about the organization to suggest that they would stand down until such time as their names are cleared, because their names are not quite cleared now. You know, there are so many people who are implicated in these things that you might see if the ANC moved the people out now en masse, because it would be quite a few people, it just might not be able to defend that situation if there was a ruckus. But again, I mean, you can't count on the people like Nomvula, like Gigaba and others saying, guys, we love the ANC so much that we don't want to, let's have our names cleared. We're quite comfortable that we'll clear our names, so we'll stand down. It's not going to happen, so it does leave the ANC in a rather awkward position.
But you think that should be the case? That would be the right thing to do in the interest of the ANC?
Well, I wish they did not stand. I really wish they didn't have to do that. But the organization, I mean, unless there was the Integrity Commission of the organization, which doesn't look at these matters on the basis of, it's not a technical evaluation of what we have done. It's just the behavior of the person. If it is sin to impinge, or rather to put the organization in disrepute, then they would perhaps recommend that the people stand down, not because they are guilty of anything, but because the image of the organization would be tarnished, would be harmed by their continuing to stand.
Well then, let's talk about the Integrity Commission of the ANC. Why isn't it doing that, given that the organization's name has been tarnished with these serious allegations?
I don't know how the Integrity Commission, what workload they have or how they operate at the national office. I do recall at a certain time a few years ago, Gwademantashe, then secretary, saying that the Integrity Commission was at liberty to point to people it thought were involved in wrongdoing, bring them to account, to explain their actions, and take whatever actions. I think it's still a recommendation. I'm not sure what happens if the Integrity Commission, for instance, were to decide that, let's say, Nomvula must go down. Would they make the decision she should go, or would they make that recommendation to the National Executive Council?
Yeah. Going into an election this year, what's the smart move for the ANC as a man within the organization who has experience of this party?
I would hope that these investigations happen quickly, and that it would be possible, by the way, one sees some of these things happening in the United States, where you don't wait until the commission comes to an end before you can take action. But that's not for the ANC, that would be for the law, the NPA or whoever thought that they had sufficient evidence that they would think warrant prosecution. It's very difficult for an organization. You don't want to take hasty action. You've just got to balance things out between your own credibility. I think people appreciate, when I say people, I mean the public, would appreciate if the party, for good reasons, couldn't make a move at a given time. But, yeah, I would say so. I think precipitate action could just harm the African National Congress.
Outside of the ANC as a party, President Cyril Ramaphosa has serious allegations leveled against his cabinet ministers, who the public protector says should actually be saints when it comes to the positions they hold in our government. Why has he not acted now when he's done it before on allegations against cabinet ministers?
These decisions are his prerogative. I don't know what he's looking at that some of us don't see, but one would think that it's going to be very important for him to be seen, to be strong on corruption. Having said that, I just don't know. There are issues of, it shouldn't be technicalities. If people must go, they must go. But strategically, you don't know what balls he's juggling there. He might be facing those kinds of issues and decide to act when he thought the time was appropriate.
As a veteran of the ANC, what are your wise words for the president and the party in dealing with these allegations that emerged from the state capture inquiry?
The greatest achievement for the ANC will be when it makes the population understanding, the electorate understand that it has no truck with corruption, that it stands fast on corruption. What's being said right now by many people, quite correctly, is that with all the allegations, with the commissions and all the things that have been brought to the public eye about wrongdoing, there haven't been consequences. We haven't seen anybody go as a result of that. The public will want to see that action is taken for people who are involved in wrongdoing, sooner than later.
All right, thank you so much for your time and your insights. We do appreciate it. And of course, is ANC veteran Mavuso Msimang.